It being 7 o'clock on Tuesday, January 4th, 2022, pursuant to the charter, that's why we're meeting on Tuesday, I'll call this meeting of the Gardner School Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mrs. Gardner.
Present.
Mrs. Hurst.
Present.
Mr. O'Connor.
Present.
Mrs. Layton.
Present.
Mrs. Flawen.
Present.
Mr. Schwartz.
Present.
Mayor Nicholson.
Present.
Dr. Pellegrino.
Present.
Regina DeVito.
Present.
All present. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda is open time for the general public. Is there anyone from the general public who wishes to be heard? Seeing none, moving on to recognitions by the superintendent. Dr. Pellegrino.
The only recognition I would say tonight is Becky McCaffrey has done a phenomenal job once again. Not only making sure that the tests were passed out on Sunday, as our volunteers, Arvin Tentney, Paul Demore, and Sherry Gelinas helping us pass our tests, but the vaccine clinic tonight again just shows the value of having a very strong Director of Health Services. So she's been phenomenal, and now we have another one set up for February. So it was great to see the governor come, but that was all due to her work and her dedication to the school and our students.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns? Moving on, reorganization of the committee. Nominations are now open. I should say, for those who may be unfamiliar, we do have 5 officer positions for the school committee here that we reorganize every January for: the vice chair, the finance officer, 2 alternatives finance officers, and the secretary. Those are all, again, by charter voted on every year. By charter, I serve as the chair, but if I'm ever not here, the vice chair takes over the meeting. The finance officer and the alternate finance officers work with the warrants in our payroll department, and the secretary signs off on the diplomas and does some other actions as well. Are there any nominations for the position of vice chair?
I nominate Jen Palavin for vice chair.
I'll second that.
Motion, nominate Attorney Jennifer Palavin is nominated by Mr. Lafreniere and seconded by Mrs. Hurst. Are there any other nominations on the floor? Second time, are there any nominations on the floor? Third and final.
I move to close.
Motion has made by Mr. Lafreniere. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Schwartz to close nominations. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. A roll call will be called. Please state the name of the candidate for vice chair that you would like to elect. Mrs. Cormier.
Attorney Palavin.
Mr. Lafreniere.
Attorney Palavin.
Mr. Schwartz.
Attorney Palavin.
Attorney Palavin.
Attorney Palavin.
Mrs. Hurst.
Attorney Palavin.
And Mrs. Ward-Layton.
Attorney Palavin.
Attorney Palavin has been elected vice chair of the committee. Are there any nominations for finance officer?
I nominate John Lafreniere.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A nomination has been made for Mr. Lafreniere by Attorney Palavin, second by Mrs. Cormier. Are there any other nominations on the floor? Second time, are there any other nominations on the floor? Third and final. Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Attorney Palavin, seconded by Mr. Schwartz to close nominations. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Please state the name after the roll call of the candidate who you would like to vote for. Mrs. Cormier.
John Lafreniere.
Mr. Lafreniere.
John Lafreniere.
Mr. Schwartz.
John Lafreniere.
Mrs. Palavin.
John Lafreniere.
Mrs. Hurst.
John Lafreniere.
And Mrs. Ward-Layton.
John Lafreniere.
Mr. Lafreniere has been elected the finance officer. Are there nominations for alternate finance officers?
I nominate Robert Schwartz.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations on the floor?
I'll nominate Attorney Palavin.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Are there any other nominations on the floor? Are there any other nominations on the floor for the second time? Third and final.
Move to close nominations.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Lafreniere, seconded by Attorney Plavin to close nominations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. There are two for this one, so you can say two names when we go around for the roll. Mrs. Cormier.
Mr. Schwartz and Attorney Plavin.
Mr. Lafreniere.
Robert Schwartz and Attorney Plavin.
Mr. Schwartz.
Robert Schwartz and Attorney Plavin.
Attorney Plavin.
Robert Schwartz and Attorney Plavin.
Mrs. Hurst.
Mr. Schwartz and Attorney Plavin.
And Mrs. Ward-Layton.
Robert Schwartz and Attorney Plavin.
Robert Schwartz and Mr. Schwartz and Attorney Plavin have been elected alternate finance officers. Nominations are now open for the position of secretary. Are there any nominations on the floor?
I
Mrs. Hurst?
nominate Rachel Cormier.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Attorney Plavin, seconded by Mrs. Hurst to nominate Mrs. Cormier, right? Okay, sorry. For secretary, are there any other nominations on the floor? Second time? Third and final? Is there a motion to close nominations?
Motion close.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lafreniere, seconded by Mr. Schwartz to close nominations. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will vote in the same manner as required by the charter. Mrs. Cormier.
Mrs. Cormier.
Mr. Lafreniere.
Rachel Cormier.
Mr. Schwartz.
Cormier.
Attorney Plavin.
Rachel Cormier.
Mrs. Hurst.
Rachel Cormier.
And Mrs. Ward-Layton.
Rachel Cormier.
Congratulations, Mrs. Cormier. Hopefully that is the longest part of our meeting. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion to accept. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lafreniere, seconded by Mr. Schwartz to accept the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? There is a scrivener's error that the clerk has notified me of on page 3, Terry?
Yeah.
Page 3, we just had a wrong date on page 3. Under the winter concert, it should be 21, and we had 22. It has already been corrected in the original minutes, so it's just a scrivener error.
Yes, if you're looking in your packets, it's on page 7 of the packet, middle of the page.
Page 7 on the packet, right, so page 3 of the minutes.
So we will note that since that is a scrivener's error, the law does allow us to just make that correction. It doesn't have to be made in a separate motion. Is there any other further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Reports of the subcommittees. Report of the Facility Subcommittee, Mr. Schwartz.
Facilities Committee did meet on December 21 at the high school, and we were beginning our rotation of visiting all the school buildings in the district. The chair had asked Mr. Anderson for a project list. He said he would send them out to the members of the Facilities Committee, and we're still waiting for them. I'll be contacting Mr. Anderson to follow up on that. I had asked Mr. Anderson for, during this cold weather, whether we had been receiving any complaints from teachers and staff of any cold rooms within the building. And he just said, no, that the usual 1 or 2, but nothing significant. So I guess things are going well, and understand that we have to maintain maximum air, rotate circulation in all of the schoolrooms. So I guess things are going fairly well. Mr. Anderson informed the committee of new exterior lights for high school, so when we were departing the high school, we did make comment that it was significantly brighter, and I noted that I had gone out the door that has access to the auditorium, and the light just shines the entire length of the high school, because when I attend events at night, the outer region of the sidewalk was rather dark, but that's no longer that way. So I thank Mr. Anderson and crew to correct that. The other thing the Facilities Committee, well, we were informed by Mr. Anderson that he and his team were installing 10 new projectors at the middle school, along with 2 large screened televisions. And that alone saves the district thousands of dollars, because they did get a quote from a contractor, and it was several $1,000s, and we did it significantly cheaper. Thanks to Mr. Anderson and crew. We also noted in the high school the cleanliness of the building, and so we thank the cleaning contractor for that, for doing a good job. We saw the camp out in the gymnasium, newly renovated gymnasium. Beautiful job. It's all painted fresh. The floor was sanded down, finished and sealed, and the new logo was put on, and the wall bumper pads, as I call them. And they're all new, beautiful. Has really done a great job in upgrading the facility of the high school gymnasium. Next month, we meet at the middle school. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Is there any questions, comments, concerns on the report? Hearing none, moving on to the policy subcommittee, Mrs. Hurst.
The policy subcommittee met on December 16th. We went over quite a few policies. There were 11 policies that were updated as reviewed. We have 6 that will be sent for first read to in February to the full committee. And our next meeting is on the 18th of January.
Excellent. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, moving on to the student advisory update. For those who may be new, if you don't mind, Gino, I'm just going to explain your role for a little bit. By Massachusetts state law, every school committee across the state is required to have a student representative as a non-voting member of the school committee to make sure that the committee stays updated on what's going on in the schools from a student perspective. So thank you very much, Gino, and your report, please.
So not a lot has happened because of winter break mostly, but with the winter sports, hockey is off to 1-2-1 start. Girls basketball is 3-2, and then boys basketball is 1-5, and both track teams are 0-1. And then the NHS induction ceremony was supposed to occur this Thursday, but it will be postponed till further notice due to COVID. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, concerns for Mr. DeVito? Moving on to new business. Item number 3355, COVID-19 update. Dr. Pellegrino.
Just a quick update. So first, we did get tests, as you know, from the state. We went out and picked up. I say we. It was Glenn Butler, one of our maintenance guys, went out on New Year's Day. This was rolled out last minute by the state. We went out. He picked up 270 tests. They also picked up thousands of KN95 masks to distribute to staff. We distributed them on Sunday, and it went very smoothly. We gave out about 100 tests, and 4 staff actually tested positive from those home kits. So to identify them early before they came into school was great. The next day, of course, we had rapid testing, as well as the routine testing for staff. So things went very well, and coming back to school went very well. I do want to say our case numbers are up. We're at a total of 75 cases in the district, 14 of those are staff. And of course, this is all online on Becky's dashboard. 61 students. Right now, GHS is the one that's getting a lot of attention. We're starting to break those numbers down to how many kids in each particular grade. We have contacted the state's rapid response team. And so once we get the grades and things like that, we'll be talking with them just to find out. Right now, we're only at about 3% of the entire school. So it's not, when Winchendon closed down, for example, they were 20% positive cases. So we're nowhere near anything like that. But we do want to be prepared. And we might need to, again, as I've said before, use a scalpel, not a machete, when it comes to making sure that, again, we're all safe. But we would not do something where we just close down an entire school necessarily. We would try to focus on those students in areas that we need to focus on. Test and stay is going great, and as you know, our protocols have drastically changed with this. The state guidance and the CDC guidance now tell us only 5 days of isolation and 5 days of quarantine. So some major changes. Overall, though, even 75, I believe in November, we had 78 cases just before Thanksgiving. So this is not unheard of by any means. But obviously, as somebody who just got over COVID, we want to stay on top of this and make sure that that we're doing all we can to keep our students and staff safe. So that's all I have on that.
Questions, comments, concerns from the committee members? Moving on to item number 3356, curriculum coordinators update. This was included in your packet for information. Right, Kathy? That's not a presentation this time? Thank you for your last couple presentations, just making sure. Any questions, comments, concerns on the curriculum coordinators update?
No.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gogan. Item number 3357, grant administrators update. This was included in your packet for information. Any questions, comments, concerns? Thank you very much, Director Dunn. Item number 3358, special education's update. This was also included in your packet. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? Thank you very much, Ms. West. Item number 3359, the CPAC update, Special Education's Parents Advisory Committee. Committee or council, Ann?
Council, sorry.
Council. Thanks.
So I've talked with Katie Abbott, who's the chair of the CPAC right now. There's not anything formally planned at this point. The attendance has been low. It's not, parents aren't like really coming out to a meeting, but the Zoom meetings do okay. What she was thinking of doing was doing some presentations and having them on YouTube so people can watch when they want to watch, kind of thing, which might be a better way to go. There's a lot of scuttlebutt, of course, on social media, and if parents have a problem, they need to speak to the people who can give them the proper information and not believe what you see on social media. That's been the biggest deterrent. Still in the process of trying to find a PAC chairperson to take over. As soon as Katie's son ages out of school, then she can't be the chair anymore. So if you know anybody that has a child in the system, anybody who has any idea or anybody, just ask or just put it out there, as we could use the help.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, concerns? Moving on to item number 3360, the Massachusetts School Building Authority new building project. Any update?
It's going really well. On time and on budget. That's the important thing.
Yeah, still building.
Yes.
All right, any questions, comments, concerns? Moving on to communications, Dr. Pellegrino.
I'd just like to, again, thank you all for coming to, who helped out at the clinic. That was very helpful. I think we got some great press having, those dignitaries come to us and see what good work we do here. I'm really excited about that. I have to say it was a great opening. I'm pleased that we're still able to have kids come to school, fully open, no delayed openings, although Friday it sounds like it's going to be some bad weather, so I'm a little nervous about Friday, but things have been going very well. So I'm really excited. Teachers are doing phenomenal work. So I think, quite frankly, I couldn't be prouder to work in any other district. This is a great district to work in.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Dr. Pellegrino? Concerns? Moving on, final comments of the school committee members. For your first time, Mrs. Ward-Layton, welcome to the committee.
Awesome. It's a little, not overwhelming, but it's a little daunting to not know the procedures and whatnot. But I'm very excited and honored to be here to try and find my place on the team. Thank you to Mike and Jen for meeting with me in December so I could just kind of get a couple questions answered. But other than that, I'm just really excited to get started and learn. I'm an eager student, so don't be afraid to throw stuff at me. I will ask all the questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And again, welcome. Mrs. Hurst.
I volunteered at the clinic tonight, and this one little guy was sitting there, and he saw the governor, and his eyes got so big. So I went over and I said, "Excuse me," I said, "would you mind coming and meeting this little guy while he gets his shot?" That kid was just so ecstatic. You know, he's like, "Mom, you gotta take a picture. I forgot my phone." It was just great. It was nice to see them there and feel supported, and to have everything go so well. I'm always proud of what this district does, and I'm proud to be here. And I hope everybody had good holidays, and that's about it.
Thank you very much. Attorney Plavin.
I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone, and I was also at the clinic, and I wanted to thank Becky McCaffrey and Lisa Ellis and everybody else who was involved in that, all the volunteers. So it is amazing how many people were able to do in the, 3-hour period. And yeah, I hope everything stays going well. I am nervous about Friday as well, possibly being a snow day, fingers crossed. I don't even want to shovel, so thank you.
Mr. DeVito.
Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to the school committee.
Thank you.
And here's to a snow day on Friday.
Mr. Schwartz.
Welcome, Shannon.
Thank you.
Good to have a new face. I attended the clinic this afternoon, well-run, thanks to Becky and all the staff. And it was good to see the governor to pay attention to the middle of the county, or middle of the Commonwealth, to the city of Gardner with Lieutenant Governor Polito. And I wanted to see her too, because I met her 3 or 4 years ago at another function. So I just wanted to say hi to her. It was well run. I was amazed at the number of people that showed up. They started before 4 o'clock. The parking lot was jam full, and people were going in and out of the school where they're getting their shots. And it was about 5 o'clock when it started to slow up a little bit, but people continued to come up, and I don't think they came right up to the end, I presume. So it's certainly a worthwhile endeavor to protect the citizens and the children in the city. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Mr. LaFreniere.
Thank you. Just Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you again to Becky and staff, the volunteers for the clinic. And welcome aboard, Shannon. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Cormier.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that vaccine clinic was a great experience. I'm honored to be part of it. Not, it makes me happy and proud to be part of Gardner. To see everybody who comes out and volunteers. And after the last one, I had told a few friends, so I was able to volunteer at this clinic for the kids. And everybody I told about it said, "Oh, I want to help too. How can I help?" So it's just a reminder, everybody in Gardner, not everybody, but most people in Gardner are looking to be out there and helpful. And it's a community we should all be proud to be part of. I want to welcome Shannon. I was the new guy 2 years ago. It can be very intimidating. This first meeting, I think, is the most confusing as well. So don't be
It's not too
discouraged.
bad. It's not too bad.
Today.
You guys are
It
fast.
all kind of falls into place. So welcome. And if you have any questions, we're all here for a common goal. So if you have questions, please don't be afraid to ask.
I already said welcome, Shannon. I try not to talk as quick as the last school committee chair did. But if I ever do, just let me know, and we can help certainly explain everything too. I catch myself in the meetings not trying to say the acronyms as much, but I say what they mean, because I work in alphabet soup every day when I'm in the office working with the different state agencies and stuff like that, that I forget that sometimes, and I've been called out on it for people watching the meetings. So if that ever happens too, always feel free.
Absolutely.
Just let us know. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I want to, for people who are watching who don't understand what we're talking about when we say the vaccine clinic, we had over 300 students and parents vaccinated today at Gardner Middle School. Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Congresswoman Trahan, Representatives Lotnick, State Senators Cronin and Goby, and Commissioner Sean Riley, the Commissioner of Education for the state, all showed up to Gardner Middle School to talk to the kids. And that was something that I hope made it more of a special experience for the students who were there. After these students were the ones who 4 weeks ago were met with some items that made us in the national news, I hope this was a lot nicer of a welcoming to the clinic for them there. And even if they didn't make it, at least some of their friends have something to talk about now, and it's still a neat experience for them there. And to hear Governor Baker then bring up some other programs that we had here in the district, like our early college program, different other grant opportunities that the district is talking about while he was here, was very nice. So thank you to all of them for coming and supporting our students, for Becky to putting it on, the Gardner Police Department members who were all there as well with the students. It was very just nice to see the community come together to support our students that way. And to the student who, as I was leaving, said, make sure you stop by McDonald's to get an ice cream, I'll do that on the way home from here. I want to remind everyone that this Thursday night, January 6th at 6 p.m., we have the city's inauguration ceremony in Perry Auditorium. Just as a quick rundown, Governor Baker will be there to give an address at the event. We'll have her swearing in. The oaths will be administered by Mark Goldstein, who is the Chief Presiding Justice of the Gardner District Court, and Justice Serge Georges, who is one of the Associate Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court in Boston as well. We'll also be joined by a couple different dignitaries that are there. The UMass Minuteman Marching Band has confirmed their attendance and will be joining us, as well as the Gardner Middle School Choir for the 6th and 7th grade students will be joining us. Our 5th grade, I want to say another thank you again to them and the Gardner High School Select Choir for joining us on Monday. They're blown away, and my parents are still talking about hot chocolate. So thank you very much to all those groups. We'll also have the Gardner High School cheerleaders. We had a spot open up, and where they're going off to nationals at the end of the month, that we're going to give them a little send-off at the inauguration ceremony, since it is a celebration of the city, not just the people who are there on the stage. So congratulations to them as well. The last thing I wanted to close on today was, for the past several years, we've been giving out these little chairs in the city as a little token from Gardner, and we ran out a year ago, and how we've been ordering them for the past at least 6 years was a cabinet maker in Maine made them on the side for us. Well, we were sending Gardner chairs out that were made in Maine, and then when the pandemic happened and everyone was doing home improvements, the guy reached out to us and said, I can get them to you in 3 years. So working with our woodshop class at Gardner High School, these will now be made by our students at Gardner High School for us to give out to people that we recognize across the city. And I thought that was just a neat way to start the new year, that we're bringing a little bit of Gardner back to Gardner through our schools. So thank you very much to our woodworking and our STEM teachers over at Gardner High for really spearheading that one and teaching our students how to, measure twice, cut once, how to design it and see what works best for them to be able to give out. So thank you. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lafreniere, seconded by Mr. Schwartz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you all very much.